Yo, we're back. Sorry for our absence, but we're back. Episode 42, the USGP recap. Dude, okay, we were supposed to be there. Chris actually
I
got a
was
chance to
there.
go. Chris was there. I had some stuff come up, but I couldn't make it. Our boy Robbie B couldn't make it. But Chris, I need a scale of 1 to 10, and we were right about our tier list. 1 to 10, how great was the USGP this week?
That's the best race this season, dude. Hands
It's got to
down.
be.
I might be biased because I went to the race and it was my first ever event that I've been to in real life, but I think it was the best race. It had everything you hope for. You got some safety cars, you had some pit stop shenanigans that made the race interesting. You had Alonso doing a wheelie down the main straight like he's
Dude.
freaking in Fast and the Furious. You had a Latifi spin. You had just like some crazy good battles, a lot of
Yeah, George Russell
overtakes.
being George Russell now.
Yeah, George Russell. Well, I didn't think that part really added value to the race, but hey,
No,
it
it
happened,
didn't.
I guess.
it it didn't. But I mean, you had crazy racing at the last lap with Magnussen and Vettel. Yeah, like dude, the USGP this year actually was pretty undefeated, and we were totally right putting it in the S tier
I'd
category in
said
our
I
track list.
said with the new regulations, the cars were gonna race better, and I mean, most of the race you would see there was like a 4 or 3 car battle in the midfield with like the with Zhou Guan Yu and Lando, and I want to say the AlphaTauri's also, both of them. So it
Yeah,
was it was pretty interesting over in that area, and then like you had the leaders fighting, and like you saw probably some of the best like overtakes of the year when with Leclerc dive bombing in on Checo
dude,
coming into that corner, dude, flawlessly executed. And then Max hits a move on him, and then Leclerc takes him back in the next corner, and then yeah, he finally gets the he just I saw this in real life, him blowing past Leclerc on the main straight when he got that overtake. It was
dude.
crazy.
That one, that had to be sick, and two, this track allowed so much. I just feel like it's just a very wide, big track, and this track allowed so much overtaking this weekend. Like
Yeah.
there was actually good racing, and people could keep up with it, and it turned out to be super sick. And obviously, we'll get to talking about the starting grid, but starting in second place on the USGP track is pretty OP. I'm not gonna lie.
So, so I had one of our friends was up there for his first ever like F1 experience that he's ever seen, and it was a real life race, and it was the best race of the season. So he got really lucky, and he we were at qualifying, and he saw Carlos Sainz put down that banger time and get that
Oh,
P1 start, and he was so high on Carlos Sainz. He was like, "Dude, Carlos, I think he's gonna win this weekend. I think he's gonna do it." And I was like, buddy, Max is starting in second place. He's taking him in the first corner, and then it's done.
bro, he's taking him in the first quarter, and obviously, like we saw, the dude didn't even get to see turn two.
Yeah, that sucked. That was yeah. I know there's some people that were sitting by me, and they're like, "Yeah, Carlos Sainz can't hang, man. He just doesn't have it in him." It's like, buddy, it was George Russell's fault.
Dude, and I've been like, King George. I'm a huge George Russell guy, and I think he's gonna be a future champion. I think he's really gonna be up there. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. As big as a fan as I am, he cries and blames everyone but himself when it comes to, yeah, he'll reflect and be like, okay, yeah, it's my fault. But during the time, oh my god, you cannot get him to be like, no, yeah, that was my bad. He just turned into me, man. He
He
like
he just
it's so
he just cut
bad.
across me, buddy.
He cut across.
He
The
was in the
best one
corner
ever
well
is
ahead
when
of
he was
you.
next to Schumacher.
Oh yeah, and you just he turned into me. They're like,
I don't know what he did. Yeah,
they're like, bud, you turned into him when your own race engineers. But I think we've had some good takes and some bad takes, but your George Russell winning the championship take is probably the worst one we've
yeah,
had.
it's in the bin.
And
It's in the bin. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Chris.
and you know, I was definitely on the George Russell hype train for a little bit, but at this point, I don't really like him. I don't think he's that good of a driver either. So this might be one area where we disagree, but I think he's all talk. I think he thought he was hot shit because Lewis Hamilton was the guinea pig in the first half of the season. But now that Lewis Hamilton's got the upgrades figured out and he's racing, he hasn't qualified ahead of him for like the last 6 races.
I mean, you could totally be right. I mean, I don't want to really accept that, but you could totally be right because it's like there's not much me to stand on and argue against it because the last couple races it's like, dude, what are we doing? We left Williams last year, bro. We can
We left
the whole
Williams last year, bro.
the whole two-thirds of the season you've been, Mr. Sunday, Mr. Consistent, Mr. P5 or higher. And what, the last three races, it's been like what, P8, P14, like it hasn't been super good. But I mean, hey,
Yeah,
I guess he'll learn once in a while.
yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's kind of crazy because it looks like Lewis Hamilton might be the only driver ever in F1 to not get smoked by the young rookie that's supposed to take his seat, you know?
I mean, yeah, that is true. It is true, but that's also like, I mean, it's impressive, but it's also to be expected. He's literally a seven-time champion. So it's like
Add that to his GOAT catalog.
it,
Cannot get beat by the rookies.
can yeah, immune to rookie talent.
Okay,
Like,
that being said, though, if it was Max that was the rookie, I think it would be a totally
ooh,
different story.
I mean, there's only one Max Verstappen on the grid, and if he was
Yeah.
like that when he was a rookie coming in against Lewis, especially, well, also too, when Max came in, Lewis wasn't. Yes, he was goated Lewis Hamilton, and he was on his streak. He was in. It was basically smack dab in the middle of his prime. But
Hmm.
now, if a rookie came in, it's a little bit different getting compared to like he now has seven. When Max came in, he was on what, number 4 or 5 or something, 4 or 5 or 6 or something. It's like,
Yep.
nah, he had to be on 4. Yeah, on number 4. No, am I totally making this up?
I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, it's weird to say this because it seems like Max has been in F1 for a long time, but he's so young, dude.
that's what I'm, dude.
He's been
He
in for a long
didn't he
time, but he
debut at
hasn't.
18?
18 or 19, yeah.
He debuted. Yeah, it was 18 and like almost 19. That's when he
Yeah.
debuted.
Yeah.
Like what, 18, 19?
He got his
What is he
first
now? What,
win
25?
he
Yeah.
got his first win like when he was 18 years old in like 250 days or something like that. Like almost
Yeah,
19
that's
practically.
you can't even teach that. You can't even like I don't know. That's just a once in a lifetime generational talent right there. That's which I can't even say once in a lifetime because there's Lewis Hamilton still on the grid. So it's like it's like it's kind of hard to even like really say how important that is. But I mean, let's see here what we got for the USGP. I mean,
Hey, who was
it
driver of the
was
day?
it.
I don't
Who was
remember.
driver of the day?
I don't even know who was driver of the day actually, because as soon as
I
the race
mean,
was
I'm gonna
over.
keep it real. I wanted it to be either Vettel or Alonso. Alonso for simply for just wanting to drive after the insane 60-foot wheelie that he
And
had,
where he finished.
and where he finished with all that damage on his car. Like, I would have given it to him, but I also would have given it to the man that's retiring and didn't seem, bro. He still has it in him. He's just in a shitbox Aston Martin.
Look, I watched the race back a little bit today, not the full race, but I wanted to get the facts straight on this because Vettel finished, what was it, like P6, P7? He should have
Yeah,
finished like he could have had a podium maybe. I don't. That might be a little bit of a reach, but he could have been fourth or fifth. At, like
yeah. Vettel finished P7. Yeah,
so, lap 41. I have my notes here. I gotta
nice.
consult these, but yeah, lap 41. He was sitting at P2, and he was like about 25 seconds, give or take, ahead of Alonso, who was in P8.
Yeah.
And then he gets into the pits. They have a 38.157-second long total pit stop.
Absolute horrifying pit stop.
Yeah, 16.8 seconds of them trying to change the tires on the car. So I did some math here. I was like, okay, let's say they had a 3 second long pit stop, which is pretty conservative, right? If they had a 3 second long pit stop, he would have come out ahead of Kevin Magnussen and been P6. And that was his last pit stop for the race. So uh he could have, and he was battling Magnussen at the end of the race, so he would have come out of the pits where he finished. So I think he could have passed Norris easily.
Magnussen also went on a. Didn't Magnussen have a one-stop race?
I don't know. I need to look into that.
Because I almost want to say either during that fight or right before that, he was going on a one-stop and he made hard tires last like 30 laps. Like it was
Madman.
kind of impressive because he was losing
So
traction at the end.
I don't know if he did a one stop because there was two safety cars that people pitted on. So
Ah, that's
like
true.
there
That's
was
true.
opportunity to get a cheap one in there. But no, like Vettel could have
Shout
finished
out
like
Gotifi.
P5 or something because at the end of the race George Russell pits for softs to get fastest lap. But I guess maybe he wouldn't do that, if Vettel was hot on his heel, like so they
That's
could get
true.
as many. I don't know, but yeah, Vettel could have been P5 potentially at best. I would say
I mean, he could have
maybe
been.
more.
We saw quite a few bad pit stops. I mean, we saw Leclerc have a decently bad pit stop. Max for the
Did he?
first time would. Yeah.
What was it? I thought he had great pit stops the whole time.
You know what? I'm confusing that. I was gonna say the Red Bulls very rarely this weekend, which I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because Max can win with literally anything thrown at him.
Yeah, that
But
car is undoubtedly the best on the
it's
grid,
too quick.
and it's Max, and it's Max.
I mean, me and Dom got into like a little tiny argument about, oh well they can catch him. Well they should be able to hold Max back a little bit longer. I'm like, no, you
Not
literally can't.
happening.
I
Nope.
was like, the with the way that car is built and whatever situation he's put in,
Dude,
it's simply too fast.
this track was made for the Red Bull car with how like the high speed
A thousand
sections. Like
percent.
he was cutting a second or half a second off his times to catching up to Lewis like every lap, dude. You're like,
I think every turn on this GP track is literally like either a super long chicane or just big, wide, super long hairpins that you can do switchbacks on
dude, and
immediately
the
into
we were
straights.
sitting at the S section. Oh, dude, that
Yeah,
was that was
that is
nice.
an undefeated section. I love that. That's honestly, I love the back straight and the main straight into the hairpin, but that S chicane section is probably my favorite section on the track.
I would have loved to be at turn 12, but you have to get grandstand tickets, so lesson learned. I'm getting grandstand tickets next
Yeah,
time.
that's the move next year.
That's the
I
move next
wonder
year.
how
I w
how far in advance do they actually put them on sale? Do you remember?
I don't remember. We got ours a couple months ago though. But and I
Yeah.
wanted to be turn 1, but you had to be there early to get there, and
Yeah, I'm sure that's the first to go.
I wasn't waking up in the right state of mind, brother. Let me just put it to you that way. I think I was still drunk on race day.
Oh boy, he had a long weekend.
Yeah, long
But
week. I
let's
mean, Austin, Texas, great city, great nightlife. It's a perfect place for Formula One, honestly, the best American race. So
dude, yeah. Can we talk about, let's see, the updated standings when what
after the
what
Alonso
exactly
penalty,
yeah, what time penalty did Alonso get?
30 seconds for driving an unsafe car. Dude, if it was so unsafe, how'd he finish so high up in the points?
I I I don't know if I agree with that.
I think it's
Because
bullshit.
I I think it's 1000% bullshit because of the fact that, listen, I know I'm pretty critical on Lance Stroll. He's good in the wet. I tell him that he at least deserves the seat in F1 because he's at least proven himself that he can drive to some capacity. But what he did this weekend to cause that wreck is absolute bullshit.
He has these flashes like we saw in the Canadian Grand Prix with him and Latifi in practice. Or
Looks great.
what are you guys doing, dude? They almost crashed
Like
into each other like on some stupid
it,
shit.
it's like, dude, I can't. I just literally can't even put into words how Latifi can look good sometimes. It's way more rare than it is with Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll actually looks halfway decent, and then they have just a, like you said, a little flash of, okay, what what are we doing? Just like when I forgot what GP it is. Was it Imola when Latifi and Stroll just
No,
Well,
that was Canadian GP in practice. I was just talking about that one.
you're okay. Yeah,
It
you're right.
wasn't
You're
even
right.
in
You're
a
right.
race situation.
Yeah, wasn't even in a race. He just scoots over randomly like he has no side mirrors at all and doesn't even check them. And then they just run like, dude, they were queuing up for hot laps
This is
and they just
Canadian
run
on
into each
Canadian
other.
violence in Canada.
Ah, ah, the trifecta.
You're on the same team, brother.
Dude, you're on this.
Hey, but how about that welcoming to Aston Martin for Alonso?
Bro, I
Awkward.
mean,
Oh
that
man.
that happens and then you come in next year, you're like, "Hey, Lance,
Hey, remember that time you made me almost take flight in my car?
yeah, remember when it was gonna be my second time getting air? Because remember, oh, I don't know if they went over his car. I think it was like 2018 when Alonso was with McLaren for that year.
Mm,
Uh, there was a big crash where someone flipped over the top of his car, and now he was the one that was doing the flipping. If he
yeah.
would have went up, dude, if he would have caught air, that would have been worse than the Zhou Guan Yu crash.
Oh, dude, yeah, that had the recipe of being like the worst crash of the season, like by far. But like,
Oh yeah, for the season by far, yeah.
and maybe even in well, I don't think
Yeah, I
anything's
don't
gonna be
know.
worse
Grosjean
than
holds
yeah.
number one for me.
He's holding
Like
yeah. That's a record I hope no
that's
one beats also.
dude. That well, never mind. We can't put that bad omen into the air. I don't want to talk about crashes, but I think it's gonna be. I don't want someone to ever beat Romain Grosjean's crash. Oh
Yeah,
my
that's what I'm
god.
saying. But no, I mean, honestly, let me just put it out here. I think Alonso's top five drivers right now because of how he handled that crash.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I
feel
mean,
like if it was any other driver, like not any other driver, but like a couple, like a decent amount of the drivers, it would have been way worse if they were the ones like behind the wheel in that situation.
no, absolutely. You're totally right. I do want to say one thing though. I can get used to this again because it's giving me flashbacks of last year. But seeing Max on the number one and Lewis on the number two podium,
Oh yeah, dude,
I like that.
there were so many Mercedes fans standing where I was at, and they were getting so excited. They saw that
They're
10
just sitting
second pit
there. Is
stop.
he
They're
gonna
like,
do it? Is it hammer
"Yeah!"
time?
They were
Is it
cheering.
hammer time?
It was hammer time this weekend, or last weekend, but they were cheering so hard when that Red Bull pit stop went like to shit, and then they were like, it's this is our time. We're gonna get the win. It's gonna be Lewis's first win this season. He's never not got a win in the season, and it's in the USGP where he's the first winner, and it's the 10-year anniversary. The stars are
Dude,
aligned, dude. The planets, everything. And then I was just like, oh guys, I
he just
wouldn't.
can't hang on.
If it happened a little bit later in the race, maybe, but you saw how Max was. And if Leclerc,
If he only had to fight for like 4 to 5 laps, I think there would be a chance. But it was just too much.
if Leclerc was able to battle with him for longer, then I would say yeah, there was a shot. But Max has gotten so much more patient this season. You saw like, in the first two races, as soon as he was in DRS range, he's trying to take every
Oh, he's
shot
watching.
against, and
Yeah,
Leclerc just baits him into. He's like,
it's like
gotcha.
he takes DRS. The next turn, he needs to pass you.
Yeah, and
That's
then
that's how he took it.
in this race, he was in DRS range for 3 or 4 laps before he tried to take his overtake because he
Yeah,
was trying to get in the right. He was waiting for the right moment, and it
yeah.
paid
He's
off.
getting very mature with that sense, and he's getting very like
It's kind of
well,
scary.
what is it? Just way more smooth. What smooth is fast, fast is smooth. That's the
Yeah,
saying. Like it's just he's picking and getting. This is why I'm saying about this era. I'm like we could be entering, if not already entered and witnessing the Max Verstappen era right now.
yeah. I mean, I think it started, but I think Leclerc will definitely sneak in some wins here. Hopefully, it's going to
Oh
be
yeah,
what I would love to see is I want to see Lewis get an eighth one. I want him to do good, but after he retires, which I think he probably won't be sticking around for a long time. Especially
yeah.
if he gets that eighth, I guarantee he retires at eight. But I think that Leclerc and him ideally would be battling like every other year or something. One of them's getting the title and they're just going back and forth. That would be like my dream scenario.
I agree. I mean, I can probably speak for every F1 fan here that we would love to see a Lewis Hamilton Max esque battle between Max and Leclerc. That's what
Dude.
it was supposed to be at the start of this year, and I was stoked on it. And then you know how that
So
went.
here's a question for you. Uh, in my opinion, I think that last year Lewis and Max, that was probably the like one of the best like top five fights in F1 for the championship.
I
If
mean, yeah,
let's say Leclerc, you know, they get the car set up right and he's driving, he fixes a couple of his little errors, mistakes he has, and him and Max are at that level, and Max wins it. Is that does that weigh more into the like you have all the statistics behind Lewis, but like if he goes through these two legendary top five battles for the title, is that enough to say he might be the best ever?
there is a difficulty, like like there. How do I say this? There's different scales of difficulty. Just like let's just because I'm a baseball nerd, just put it into baseball terms. It's one thing to beat all the worst playoff teams that made it and get to the Super Bowl, but it's another thing to be one of the worst playoff teams and beating the number 1 seed, number 2 seed to get to the World Series and then win it. So
Yeah.
like you weigh them differently because it's like, okay, Max won his first championship going head to head against the 7 time. Max won his second championship going head to head against Leclerc, but then also going like it after Leclerc dropped out. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think there was a close second place.
No,
So it's like,
This was him on some Lewis Hamilton. Like, yeah, we had a
no,
kind of a good fight at the start, but I just ran off with it in the end.
yeah, this was his hey, I'm gonna prove a point year.
Yeah,
This was that year. Last year was I, I'm showing that hey, I'm here to not only win but dethrone. So it's like that was
that he
last year.
did.
So you do weigh him different because of the circumstance he's been under, and especially I'm not going to touch on it too much because it's beaten into the ground by now. But with the budget cap issues and all that stuff, you need a year where it's a clean, no controversy, no nothing. You need a year to where the championship is yours and no one has an outside argument to stand on. And I'm not saying we need to put a lot of weight into the budget cap of it made him score what is it? What's his point total now? What 391 points by himself? It did like a budget cap of $1 million over on catering is
That I think that's a
it,
goofy argument
I
because
know
like
it is. It's stupid.
okay, it's $1 million over. You could take that million from anywhere. Like you could have took that million from development and then paid for your catering.
Literally could have taken it from development, take it from catering, take it from salaries, take it from the advertisements to get your team out there. You can literally take it from every facet of their business. So
Yeah.
you can't put weight into it because it's like, dude, I don't think an extra $1 million spread apart all those things gave him 391 points this year.
No, I
He
think
did that
this
by himself.
this year, yeah, this was his year. I mean, I don't see how there's controversy about this year because the spending was for last season,
Yeah,
you know.
I don't buy the argument. I know a lot of people are saying it, and dude, did you see that video of like the everyone at the GP chanting cheater when they came on the stage?
I didn't see that.
Dude, I just thought it was goofy. It's just
Yeah.
like he's not cheating, and yeah, Max Verstappen controls the budget cap. Max Verstappen controls where the money goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's
It's
almost
like
as silly as what they say about the Houston Astros, man.
that's what I'm saying, bro. That's
Just
what
saying.
I'm saying, bro.
But I will say whoever came up with the budget cap was breached because of catering narrative. Like I don't know how you
Stupid.
pulled that narrative off, but it's
Yeah.
fooled a lot of
Who
people. That's pretty good.
It's I mean, bravo for you crunching the numbers, but but like that's it's probably the dumbest thing. But I mean, let's go over the top 10. Let's go over the top 10. Let's see. We got Max at first, shocker. Lewis Hamilton second. Leclerc there. I love this podium. You have Max,
Dude,
Lewis, Leclerc.
I
The
just want to
podium's
say
great.
I nailed all three of those. I was talking to my friends. I said I put it as it was going to be Max Leclerc and then Lewis. So I had all the three people right. I had the order
Okay.
wrong.
Yeah.
But I want to say Ferrari had another sneaky good weekend. It's crazy how
They did.
when the pressure's not on them, they've actually been able to hold it together and had good strategies and
I know,
like yeah,
which sucks because it's like when the pressure is on, you're like, dude, you need to perform and not crack under pressure. But damn
yeah.
it, man,
I mean,
like
this was their first year back in serious contention, so give them the benefit of the doubt. Like Red Bull, we all knew they were going to do good because they just went off like the best, you know, the most competitive season ever. So they have it figured. So I'm giving Ferrari a little bit, a little leeway, even though
guys, are
they
you hearing
fumbled the
this?
bag.
Are you hearing this? The copium is flowing right now.
Hey,
It went from roasted to let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
look,
Okay,
they fumbled the bag this year, but I understand why. And if they make the same mistake next year, then you know, fool me twice. You can't fool me again, that type of beat.
woman can't get fooled again.
Exactly. George W., Texas.
Oh my, holy shit, bro! Like, I mean, yeah, it's just Ferrari need to not just crack under. It sucks because I'm not gonna sit here on my fucking armchair and analysis type shit and say like it's just easy, bro. You have to deliver. You can't crash under press. Like you can't do that. Sure, it's harder than it looks, but damn it, man! Like you can't just fold when something like
It
doesn't
got
go
pretty
your way.
bad, dude. It got pretty
Yeah,
bad.
no shit.
It was
Like,
dark.
bro, we're on plan fucking G by lap 4.
Yeah.
We're like, it just doesn't make sense. But
You
anyways, we
know,
have
good news. Another good story coming out of the U.S. Grand Prix is
come on.
The Logan Sargent situation. So
Yes.
if everything
First
comes
American
into
in a
place,
while.
yeah, if everything plays out right, we'll have the first American F1 driver since 2015.
I can't believe it was so heavily announced that it actually isn't in ink yet, but every single credible page is saying no, it's the deal's done. If he can secure the super license points, which it's very transparent and obvious that since they invited him out, what the last two races of
Hmm
this year, Abu Dhabi and Brazil, like they
Well,
invited him out to both of those.
they said it at the race at the track on the like speakers. They were talking about it there, and so I
Oh
got
damn.
super hyped there. I was like, oh damn, this is awesome. So all he needs to do is get 40 super license points, right? Right now he has 28 of them. He's coming uh t to the
He has
FP1
28
session.
out of 40 or he
Uh,
has to get 40
he
more.
has 28 out of 40.
Oh, okay.
So he's gonna get uh he can get 2 points for the next two races that he's gonna go to, and he's gonna test the car in Mexico and Brazil. And if he if he has a clean sessions and he goes over a certain speed or whatever, then he gets points for this. And I read this stuff on the ESPN article.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
so if he does those successfully, he'll get 30 points, and then to get the remainder, the last 10 points he needs, he has to finish uh above P7 in the F2 championship, and he's sitting at P3 right now. So
Uh, money,
money,
money.
yeah, he'd
Logan
have to fumble
Sargent.
pretty hard. So,
It would be even cooler if it was Logan Sargent to Haas because it's like America, but like
but
no,
Dude,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Alex Albon, Logan Sargent, and you got Yost behind you. That I'm a Williams fan. You're gonna see me in a Williams hat next year.
yeah, it's a good year for Williams. And want to hear something even sweeter?
Let's hear it.
I think that Porsche is in talks with Williams about doing a 50-50 partnership with them.
Oh, oh,
Dude.
with Audi joining in 2026, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna get spicy. We're gonna
So,
have Porsche with the revenge tour off Red Bull going to Williams. We'll have Audi, a brand new team taking over Alfa Romeo on 2026 with their own Audi engines. It's gonna be
yeah,
full Audi.
Audi Sauber,
Like
Saudi.
that's gonna that
Yeah.
oh my god. But no, that's gonna be Dude, that's gonna be legit. I didn't know he was already sitting at fucking P3 in the F2 championship. Yeah, he literally has to try and throw that.
Truth, bro. And yeah, it's gonna be Williams is on the come up, dude. Like Haas, they have been fumbling. Kevin Magnussen had a good finish this weekend, but
He
Aston
did.
Martin
It's
is
just been
their
underwhelming. It's just
look.
been underwhelming.
Aston Martin is the closest team to them, and they just pulled a 24-point gap on them over like the last 2 weekends because they both Stroll and Vettel have been doing pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because Haas should be fighting with Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo for sixth, seventh, eighth, right? Yeah, sixth, seventh, and eighth
Yeah.
place. They should all be close, but now they're barely sitting ahead of um, AlphaTauri, and Williams is just Williams. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's tough,
I,
man.
I don't know. I
Haas is
don't
letting me
know.
down.
Like I said, man, I've been saying it for a few weekends now, and it's like I don't hate Haas. I think they're doing fine. I mean, obviously the bar was on the ground starting this year with the last year that they had, so it's hard to not disappoint this year. So like I get it. It's just been they need some sort of shakeup.
They need
They
to come
need
out
some
these last couple races and do good and to get points.
like really good. Like they need to show good delta pace. They need to show good practice sessions. They need to have a decent qualifying where they at least try to make it into Q3 or on the cusp of it.
So I will
Like
give some copium for them this weekend, and they had limited testing on the vehicles because they had what's his
nah,
name? Giovinazzi crashed in the car in
that's
FP1,
true.
so then Mick doesn't get a lot of time because they have to fix the car, and then it's still messed up in the sessions. And then FP2 was Pirelli testing, so they were pretty much like dictating how everything goes. So they didn't
This
get
is
a lot
true.
of data, so they didn't have a good setup, I guess. But I mean, they didn't have a good setup the weekend before that, when
That's what
they
I'm
raced.
saying. It's like
So
it's just they do just good enough to keep them where they are right now. They don't overachieve, they don't underachieve, but it's massively unexciting.
and
That's really it.
Mick needs to step up because he's not under contract yet.
That's what I'm that's that's another thing, bro. It's like, oh, we gotta wait to see if he scores points. Oh, we gotta wait. When is that gonna be? And I don't know if you understand this, but the sooner you have an F1 contract, the more security you have. We are getting to the finish line of contract signing. There's
Almost
no
end the
way
season.
that you can be this comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff with them, but yeah, that's really the U.S. Grand Prix and news around it,
Yeah,
news after it.
I'm just gonna ring off the final top 10. You had
Okay.
Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez, Russell, which he's coming back to fifth, which is cool, whatever. Norris at sixth. He continues to make that shitbox McLaren look good. Like
Ugh.
dude, I saw a graphic. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I saw a graphic and it was on F1 Meme Troll or something like that, and it was the team
The
graphic of the
constructors,
points.
and they put just
Yeah,
Lando Norris
yeah,
for,
I
yeah.
know. Everyone was. It's Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpine, Lando, Alfa Romeo. I was like, dude.
uh,
And then when I realized he has 109 of like the 100 and what 30 something points they have, 138, and he's got 109 of them. It's like you ball yourself up and cry a little bit because you know Daniel Ricciardo's his teammate, and
yeah,
uh,
it's tough for him. He's definitely not driving it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say not because he could go to Haas potentially. That's the
he
only option
could.
left.
He could. And I'm gonna keep it real. If Schumacher finds himself without a seat, um, I don't care. I would love for Daniel Ricciardo to sign that. But see, that's the thing though. Another thing comes into play. We're sitting here waiting for them to make a decision. Danny Rick's got to make a decision too. If he makes one too soon, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have this Haas seat open. Like, okay, cool.
Now you shot yourself in the
You
foot.
missed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, now you missed it. Now you go take a reserve at Red Bull or Mercedes, or you don't take it at all and you just take a sabbatical for a year and then come back, or you Haas figures their shit out and they make some sort of move. It doesn't have to be Danny Rick. It doesn't have to be Mick. It doesn't have like. I think they're just waiting too long to commit to something.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Super weird,
It's weird.
honestly.
It's weird. But I
But
just want to say this: Ocon finishing P10, exactly where I had him. 8 to 12,
exactly where I
smack
have
dab
him.
in the middle.
Oh
Like it.
man.
I mean, hate to say it,
Mid.
but but that's where he was. But I mean, hey, let's. That's the USGP. We have the Mexican GP, land of the Sergio Perez. He's huge,
Checo land.
and I guess real quick, what are our predictions looking like?
I think Max is going to be a bully and take first
I
place
mean,
still.
yeah,
I think
duh.
he even said he's not going to let Checo win the race.
Oh my god.
Dude's a
Well,
menace.
that's so crazy. Max has like 3 home races back to back, and Checo gets one.
And yeah, I mean, I will say though, I feel like Checo would like it better if he wins knowing that Max didn't let him win.
Oh yeah,
So
I mean, you can't. Anytime you win something, someone left their foot off the gas. It doesn't even make you feel good about your win anymore. It's a little
yeah,
pity win.
yeah, but
Like it just feels bad.
I think Checo's gonna be driving his heart out, dude, in this race. So I think he's gonna be in the
100%.
podium, guaranteed.
I
Where he
think
sits,
he's a solid P3 for me right now.
I think he's a solid P3 as long as Leclerc doesn't take any engine penalties. I can just
Yeah.
put it Max, Leclerc, Checo. They split, you know, he splits the Red Bulls, and then Carlos will probably be P4, maybe P5, with Lewis at
Yeah,
P4 or P5. You can
I agree.
interchange those.
I agree. Hmm. I want to say, depending on his qualifying, I love to put Checo at P2, but it just depends with qualifying. And I know you could cop out and say that about everyone. Oh, it just depends where they start on the grid. Yeah, no shit. But Max Verstappen can start at P18 and win the race. So it's
Yeah,
like it really does for some of these drivers just depend on what cards they're dealt in their qualifying. And if we have good weather this weekend, which
yeah,
it's Mexico, I'm sure we'll have wonderful weather on this track.
yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty easy at this point. Like Red Bull's won constructors now, Max has won the
Yeah.
championship. Like everyone's fighting for second. Mercedes is creeping up on Ferrari in the
Yep.
constructors, like really
We
close.
still
So,
have the back and forth of P4 for Alpine and McLaren.
and the back and forth of P2 with Checo and Leclerc. They're like two
Yeah,
points apart right now or some shit.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like there's some spicy things, but I
And
like yours. So yours
hey,
is
Aston
go on.
Martin's pushing Alfa Romeo. They might take their spot and go to like P6 or
They
something.
are. I'm looking at it right now, and they're only a point down. It's 51 to 52,
And they've
and
gained like
that's actually
24
pretty impressive.
points over the last two races.
Yeah, Vettel's in championship form, which sucks because he's got what 3 races left.
He's top five driver on the grid right now.
Top five, top five, top five,
Top
top
five,
five.
top five, top five. I'll give you my
But
top five
okay, so
drivers.
so can you really
Yeah, I'll give you them right now. Max
go?
one, Lewis two, Leclerc third, uh, uh Alonso four, Vettel five.
You know what? I actually don't have a single complaint about that list. I
Yeah,
would put Lando on there, but he's in a shitbox.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. Maybe in a little bit he can get on that list, but for now I don't. I mean, just the way that Alonso and Vettel have been driving, like they've closed the
No,
door for
I
him on
agree.
the
I
list.
100% agree with you. Like
Yeah,
I don't even think there even needs to be an argument. It's 100% deserving.
they're
But
almost
no,
there. Or Lando is at least. He's almost there. He's number
yeah,
six.
yeah. I
I'll put
mean,
him above George
I would
Russell.
have put him in the top 5 last year. He was
Yeah,
stupid quick in that car last year.
definitely.
But I mean, yeah. So your podium is you have Max, Charles, then Checo. I'm gonna go Red Bull 1-2, Max
Ooh, whew.
Checo, depending, and then hmm, I think Leclerc has a great race. It's ruined by pit stops, and
No, don't
Signs
say
actually
it.
gets a P3, and Leclerc gets like a 4 or 5.
I don't like that. I don't think that's how.
I
They don't
know,
have pressure
I
now. They're
know.
gonna do fine.
They don't have
They've had a
the
couple
season's
sneaky
over
good.
for them.
They've
They'll
had
do fine.
now that they've counted themselves out. Like I think they still thought they had a chance for a while. Binotto was
Oh
like, "We're
yeah,
gonna come out of summer break and win them all." And then
Yeah,
after a
no.
couple losses, they were like, okay, yeah, we're
They
chilling now.
arguably picked up right where they left off, the race before summer break, and that hurt.
uh,
That hurt.
yeah,
But
there was some
yeah, I
struggle
mean,
times.
that was the USGP. That was our little Mexican GP predictions. We'll see how that plays out. Honestly, we might even rip a little like a mini 10-minute video, just doing like a live reaction after qualifying or something like that.
Who
Since the
knows?
Mexico one will be it'll
A
be at a
good
decent time
decent
for us.
time, yeah. That's
Yeah,
true. We should do that actually, because we've been off the grid for a little bit. There's been some personal
yeah,
stuff that's
we
been,
gotta come back with some content.
yeah, we
So
we've been away, but like Lewis
I'm
Hamilton
ready.
said this weekend, I'm still here.
I'm still here, baby. But yeah, follow us on Twitter on it's at TLUPF1 and Instagram TLUP.F1. Check us out on YouTube. Our beautiful faces are now in the camera angles. Yeah. Uh, I mean, Anchor.fm, literally any audio source you can find or search us on, it'll be there. But yeah, man, keep showing the love, and we're back. We're gonna hit you with some content, and it's been nice, man. We'll catch y'all later.